guys, it's Melanie, and today I'm going to share a pretty requested video with you. There are a lot of people who have asked me to make a video about melting wax. And it's not candles, but like, you know, the actual like warmers, like the one that you see behind me back here. I think most people sort of know how to burn a candle and get, you know, a good throw from the candle. And a lot more people are becoming interested in melting because of companies like Scentsy and Pink Zebra. You know, and wax is really readily available in most stores. I mean, I get the Better Homes and Gardens from Walmart all the time. Sensationals is sold there. Like I said, Scentsy, Pink Zebra. There's all these, Etsy. I mean, Etsy is full of vendors that sells, you know, wax tarts, either in clamshells or little individual ones in cute little shapes. So there's just this whole world of home fragrance that revolves around melting. And there have definitely been a few things that I have learned over the last couple of years that have helped me get the most out of my wax. I am someone who really enjoys home fragrance. That's why I started incorporating it into this channel. I live in a house that is almost 1,900 square feet, and we have pets. We have a dog, we have a cat, and I try really hard to not make it smell like that in here. I mean, our dog and our cat, they don't stink, but you know, like pets like leave certain odors around the house, and I'm just really sensitive to that. And I always grew up in a house where my mom was big on like things like potpourri and, you know, like candles here and there. And so to me, that just is kind of like, it just reminds me of like living at home with my parents, and I really enjoyed growing up with my parents. So, you know, it's just, it seems like the natural thing for me to do in my home to create like a homey atmosphere. So melting is something that I've really gotten into because, as I've said in a lot of my recent videos, unfortunately, because of the amount of candles that I have burned in my home, I have a lot of soot that I'm cleaning up. I am now focusing more on purchasing and burning soy candles exclusively because I find the soot production to be much lower in those types of candles. So that is something that really is important to me at this point going forward. And melting doesn't produce any soot at all. And it's also a little bit safer, to be completely honest. I won't lie, there have been times where I've left the house to run to the store and I've realized, like, you know, a couple miles away that I left a candle burning, and I have to turn around, I have to come home, and I have to blow those candles out because it just freaks me out to think that, like, you know, the candle accidentally getting knocked over while I'm gone, and just, you know, we have our dog and our cat in the house, and that I would never forgive myself if anything happened. And so I'm really vigilant now about blowing candles out. But the thing is, if I leave a warmer on when I leave the house, and I only use the plug-in kind, I don't use the types of warmers where you use a tea light to warm the wax. I just don't even mess with those. That's you know, that's a little bit more inconvenient for me. Plus, it kind of defeats the purpose of having it be a little bit safer form of home fragrance. But so if I leave one of those warmers on when I go to the store, it's totally fine. It's kind of like leaving a lamp on when you leave the house. So probably not ideal, but at the same time, like, you know, I'm not worried about my house going up in flames while I'm shopping at Safeway. So for me, this has been a much safer form of home fragrance, and I have quite a few warmers in my house. I have 3 upstairs, actually 4 with the little wall plug-in in Stella's bathroom. I have 2 downstairs, 2 regular sized warmers downstairs, and then another like wall plug-in one in the bathroom. And you'll see the wall plug-in ones. I kind of take you on a little tour of a few of my warmers so that you can sort of see what I tend to purchase when I buy the warmers and where I get them. So, you know, I don't necessarily have all of them going at any one given time, but, you know, I'll usually have at least 2 going upstairs and then 1 downstairs. maybe 2 if we are having people over and I'm sort of wanting to like get a lot of scent going. I tend to change my wax out every 2 days. I show you in the video my preferred method of changing the wax out. Most of my fragrances, honestly, probably still could be in the warmers for another day or 2, but I like my fragrance to be pretty strong, and I have a lot of wax, so I don't mind changing it out more frequently, but you certainly don't have to do it at the rate that I do it. I have an itchy nose. But this has been a really great way for me to do something a little bit different that still gets me a lot of great home fragrance, and it's a little bit safer. Several people have asked me about the Yankee Centerpieces. The Yankee Centerpieces actually have a timer on them, which can be really great because you can set them for like an hour or 90 minutes, or, I don't know all of the settings. I don't own any centerpieces from Yankee. To me, I don't mind like turning my warmers on and off. It's something that's so habitual for me that I just do it. I usually, if I am melting, will turn it on around 9, 10 in the morning, and then right before we go to bed, I will turn those warmers off before we go to sleep. So I don't necessarily need a timer. And that's honestly another reason why I change my wax out so frequently. I melt the wax all day. So after 2 days of about, 16 to 20 hours worth of melting, most of the fragrance has gone out of my wax. Most people only turn their warmers on for like 4 or 5 hours at a time. So that's how you can get several more days out of your wax as well. Versus what I do every couple of days. The centerpieces are great because they do have that timer, but I just don't really see the need for it. Also with the centerpieces, if you're not aware of this, but they come with little cups of wax that you buy at Yankee, you can actually clean those cups out and then put other wax in there, like from Walmart or whatever. So just know that you can, if you do want to invest in one of those with a timer, you don't necessarily have to stick with the Yankee wax. You can actually keep the little plastic cup and clean it out after you're done with that particular fragrance, and then put other wax in there. And, every once in a while, just get a new cup from Yankee and melt that, and then reuse that cup. So that's something that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And what else can I tell you? It's hard because, like, I guess I'm not sure like what questions exactly people have. I went around the house and sort of took you through the tour of my different types of burners and sort of explained that a little bit. So hopefully this, the rest of the video here will answer any other questions that you may have, but definitely leave me comments down below if you are curious. One thing to know is that it's really important to keep the wax out of the reach of your little kids, your little people, as well as your pets. Luckily, Stella has zero interest in the wax warmers, and she's never like tried to touch them. The wax never gets really hot. I can certainly put my finger in the wax in any of my warmers and it doesn't burn me, but I'm more afraid of her ingesting it. But she's never shown an interest, and we've talked about safety when it comes to candles and when it comes to the melting wax. So she sort of knows that that is like a no zone for her. And she's actually really good about respecting that. And I also make sure that everything is out of reach of Mr. Kong as well as our cat Sophie. You do not want your animals to ingest these wax products. They can obviously smell really yummy. And unfortunately, I have heard of, animals ingesting the wax and not surviving. So Scentsy, I believe, is made of food grade wax, but it still has essential oils and stuff or fragrance oils in it, and that is, you're not supposed to ingest that stuff. It's not edible. So just make sure to keep any wax that you're melting away from curious little cats or dogs, and most importantly, your little kids. So have that talk with them. Stella is old enough to understand those kinds of things now, so we address that quite frequently, like staying away from candles, not playing with fire, staying away from mommy's wax and stuff like that, that even though it smells good, it's not food. I also show you in this video, by the way, how I store my wax, so you can look for that probably towards the end of the video. Okay, I think that's all that I wanted to say for now. Again, if you have any other questions after watching the remainder of the video, just let me know. I am happy to answer them down below in the comments. And if there are any other avid melters out there and you have tips that you want to leave for other people in the comments, please do so. You know, I love when people are like collaborative with each other in the comments. I think that that is fantastic. So definitely read the comments down below and see if there are any extra tips that I forgot to mention here. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump in and enjoy the rest of the video. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. All right, so here is another type of warmer. This one you can see is sort of a two-piece system here. So this is an actual warmer, and this is obviously a plug-in kind that you can turn on and off. There's a hot plate here. Oops, that label just fell off the bottom of that. This plate here actually gets hot. It's not super crazy hot, but it's definitely not something that you want to, like, you know, rest your fingers on or anything. When you are not melting a candle like this, and you can see I've had this on here for about 10-15 minutes so far. It does take a while for this to completely pool out, which is why I don't like using this type of warmer for candles that have more than half the wax still in the glass jars. There's another type of warmer that I will link down below in the description box that warms from the top down. That might be better for some people who just want to melt their candles instead of burning them. But this one's nice because I have the option to do that, or I can put this piece back on there and essentially just melt wax tarts in there. So this one is particularly nice. This is from Ambisense. I got this at my local Fred Meyer. Apparently you can find Ambisense at Bed Bath & Beyond, but you can also find these warmers at Amazon. I will link a couple down below, but they're super easy to find and pretty inexpensive. So anyway, I'm melting this guy right here today, so that is that type of warmer. Okay, so I had put this in the freezer about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, and this is just the tray from one of my warmers. So I wanted to show you how easily the wax comes out when you just put these trays into the freezer. So it literally just lifts out. Basically, when the wax freezes up, it contracts a little bit and lifts away from the sides. And again, you can just easily lift it out. Another thing that you can do that I'll just show you really quickly is you can put ice cubes on top of the wax like that. Obviously you need to wait until your wax hardens again, but you can just kind of put some ice cubes on top of there, leave it for about 10 minutes or so, and then take the ice cubes out, and then again it should just lift right out, and then you can just toss that away. So that is my preferred method for getting the wax out of these types of warmers here. You can also line this with tin foil and then just lift the tin foil off. That is a little bit more work than I'm interested in doing. Another thing that you can do is just pour the wax out when it's still hot, but again, that's a little bit messy. It's just easier for me to pop it in the freezer or to put the ice cubes on top, and that's really the easiest way for you to get the wax out of your warmers. So here's another warmer that I have in my entryway. This one is called the Bride Warmer, and it's actually from Scentsy. So this one comes with a ceramic dish on the top as well. You can see the light bulb down there. That is a 25-watt light bulb. You can buy the replacement bulbs I get mine at Walmart. So for these types of warmers, you don't want to get more than a like 20 or 25 watt bulb. And just definitely don't do more than like a 25 watt bulb. I think that you run the risk of damaging the warmer itself. They can also catch on fire if the wattage is too high. So just stick with the wattage that your particular warmer is designed for. And, you know, better yet, if it's easier, just order the replacement bulbs from like Scentsy. If you're going through Scentsy, I have found ones that work really well at Walmart, also at Fred Meyer, that are designed for these types of warmers, so that is what I choose to repurchase. Anyway, so this one's really nice because it's another one that I can just lift off and plop this in the freezer and get the wax out that way. It does have one of those little, you know, on-off clickers, so that's really convenient. These are probably my favorite types of warmers. I will put Lisa, my Scentsy ladies, information down below if you are curious from ordering from Scentsy. Lisa is fantastic. You can always ask her lots of questions, and she's not pushy at all. So definitely check her out if you are curious. All right, so we are now in Stella's bathroom upstairs, and this is the, I'm going to show you one more after this, but this is one of the wall plug-in type of warmers. So this one is from Sensationals. It's from Walmart. It's just a 15 wattage warmer. You do not, and I repeat, do not want to put more than a 15 watt replacement bulb in these. Again, you can get the replacement bulbs at Walmart for these, so super inexpensive. They're only a couple of bucks, but quite honestly, these last forever. It has a really nice on-off switch. These are great. I melt everything from, this is a Light My Soy, so I've used soy in here. I've used the Better Homes and Gardens. I've used these Sensationals, the Scentsy ones. They all melt perfectly fine. I've never had an issue, and they're really easy to just plug in. They're pretty stable. They have like a little stabilizing thing in there that goes into this hole, so that keeps it from being wobbly. And when you take this off, like you sort of twist it, and then you twist it back on. It's a little bit hot, so I don't want to lift it off right now. I just turned this on not too long ago, so the wax is still, you can see it's still kind of melting in there, but the wax is never super hot, so that's good. So these are pretty safe. I do keep all of these out of the reach of the animals as well as Stella. She's never been curious about them, but that's definitely a fear of mine. And you certainly don't want to let your animals get into these. So do not use this type of warmer like in your living room, like in your normal outlets. Like use these like in your kitchen, on like your countertop area, or use them in your bathrooms. I would not put these like in like your lower outlets, if that makes sense. So again, this one is from Sensationals, and I just got it at Walmart. I think it was $12. It was super, super inexpensive, and it works great. And the last one that I'm going to show you guys here is another one from Sensationals. This is my most recent warmer that I picked up at Walmart. It was $15 or $15.99. This one's really pretty. It's white ceramic. It has a bunch of little holes, so it provides some really neat illumination. And then it has another one of these little things that you lift up. So once you are done melting your wax for the day, you simply turn the little thing off. You let that wax harden. If you are wanting to melt it again the next day, just wait until the next day and turn it on. Or, you know, take the hardened wax and put it in the freezer, or put some ice cubes on that and then just pop it out that way, and then you can replace it and start anew. For those of you that are wondering, I typically have my warmers on about 8 hours a day, so I replace my wax every 2 days. That may seem like a lot, but I really prefer the wax to be pretty strong, so that's just my preference. A lot of times there is still a bit of scent left in the wax, but it's just not strong enough for my taste. And I have enough wax to go through to where I can do that and really not feel all that bad about it. But you can certainly leave your wax in there until you can't smell anything at all. So that is definitely something that you can do. You don't have to go by my schedule. So we're jumping around a little bit, but I know someone's probably going to ask, how do you store the wax? This is how I do it. These are Sterilite drawers that I picked up. There was a set of 4 that I picked up at Target for $7.99, plus I think I had a Cartwheel coupon, so I think I paid like $6.99 for these. Anyway, they are perfect for wax. So I've got Better Homes and Gardens, Scentsy, basically Light My Soy. These all fit in here beautifully, so I can get quite a bit going. It's very easy for me to see what I have and to keep this nice and organized. I am going to need to pick up, this is embarrassing, but I think I'm going to pick up another 4-pack because I do have a few more wax tarts here and up there that need a home. So, and again, I'm trying to refrain from buying so much wax because I don't really want to have much more than this at any given time. And so you can see it's very easy for me to do this. I tend to store most of my scents by like different types of like notes. So quite honestly, most of these are just bakery, just different types of bakery. So here's my more like spicy fall bakery type scents. Here are my super sweet type scents. So I've got sugar and pink haze and sugared lavender twist, and you know, much sweeter scents in this one. This is again like sweeter and fruitier type scents, and then this is another one that has more like spicy type of bakery type scents. So I think it's best to sort of separate them. They are in their own individual clamshells, which protects them pretty nicely, but I think it's nice to just store them in similar scent categories. So, gosh, whenever I open up one of these, oh my God, they just smell amazing. This one, for example, smells just, because most of it is Perfect Corner Bakery from Better Homes and Gardens, which is a dupe for Bath and Body Works Cinnamon Sugar Donut. If you ever find that and you love that candle from Bath and Body Works, you just need to go and get that wax tart. That is something that is holy grail for me. So that's how I store these, and I can store these underneath this bed here where I have a bunch of other containers and stuff, and it's really easy for me to access them and to keep them neat and clean. So that is how I store my wax.